What's happening, beautiful people? Is that team from DC? Khadar with my boy Caleb. Today we're gonna wrap up OTAs. We'll talk Chase Young. When Ron will name a starting quarterback, one free agent signing that we'd like to see, and should we be on Hard Knocks? We'll talk about all that today.
Welcome to the highly anticipated season 1 of That Team from DC with Caleb and Khadar, presented by Red Zone in the Lab podcast. We in the city and we chopping it up about the Commanders and all DC sports. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Red Zone in the Lab and visit our website to subscribe to all our podcast platforms at www.redzoneinthelab.com. And gang, and let's get it.
So that team from DC, another episode. Caleb, man, what's rocking? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. You know, we getting a lot of reports out. You already know the team, the owner may get voted July 20th, August 8th. Praying it's July 20th. That'd be real nice. Before my birthday, too. That'd be a real nice early present.
Yeah, man, that'll definitely make it a lot sweeter. You know, DC sports, with my Wizards and just everything that's going on, even with the Nats. It's looking really bright, man. So
I'm glad y'all gonna rebuild. That's what I've been saying. It's rebuild. But let's get to this. Let's get to this, man. Chase Young. If you're gonna pay him $20 million a year, what type of production are we looking for? I know viewers, $20 million a year sounds crazy. But let's talk about it. Let's just see what's going on. So, what type of production you looking for, Khadar? If you're giving an edge rusher $20 million a year, what type of production he gonna have to give you, man? I need some numbers.
Well, see, that's a part of the problem. I feel like we try to be very. We're not giving Chase a very fair shake. We're very quantitative with like what we expect out of Chase Young versus like actually like watching ball and seeing what he's providing. Like Chase Young, a lot of people don't know or remember, I should say. He was a Heisman finalist when he was at Ohio State. Like, he went and had 16 and a half sacks in college football. His last year, he forgoed his senior season. He would have had more sacks had he not gotten suspended. He took a loan from a friend. And, that's crazy because, now we have NIL and players are getting paid. And that's what they should be doing. But that's a whole other discussion for another time. But Chase, he's an impact player. What I want Chase to be is somebody that is just out there, getting tackles for loss, getting double teams, getting to the quarterback. And I mean, ultimately, yes, $20 million is somebody that, is putting up, box numbers, but, you don't want those numbers to be empty either. You want somebody that's making impact plays when your team needs it, especially with our defense. With the talent that we have with Allen and Payne in the middle and Sweat on the outside. The way I see it is we're not going to be able to pay both Sweat and, Chase Young, right? It's possible that we do both, but we got to get great production out of both to justify paying both, right? Because we're already paying Allen and Payne, which we've gotten great production from. But the biggest thing for me is Chase Young, $20 million. What would it take for him to get that is availability. I think when he's out there, he's shown to be, a dominant player. He's won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was a Pro Bowler in his rookie season. He got hurt, and, he hasn't really gotten a chance to just blossom ever since his injury. But, I mean, Chase Young, for me, he is one of our best players on the team. There are a bunch of teams in the NFL that would kill to have a player like Chase Young to go ahead and, just be willing to give up, draft picks to get a guy like Chase Young. I mean, that's a steal for, many NFL teams. So Chase Young, he belongs in DC, but I'd like to see him play, at least 13, 14 games, hopefully get into the double digits and, recording sacks. But if Chase Young is out there in the fourth quarter of games where we have a lead, we're running the ball, and he's able to pin his ears back and get the quarterback, I think, Chase is going to look really good. And, him just being out there is just the biggest key for me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that. So the production, well, what do you like? You just want him to be disruptive. So the numbers don't matter to you, or
The numbers matter, but I mean, I'm not going to go into specifics, but we've seen players on our team put up numbers that haven't really mattered as much. Like, for example, I value sacks in situations where we need them, right? So, like, if we go ahead and get sacks, in fourth quarters of games where we have a lead, where, it's very situational and we need a guy to go out there and make a play, I value that a lot more than being down a couple touchdowns and then somebody, making a sack where it doesn't mean as much in a game that we might be losing, right? Because then sometimes, sacks and, numbers that are recorded on the box score, it might look, really pretty, but what's the context behind that? When did this sack happen? What was the situation behind that? I'm looking at the situationals. Big play for me that I can remember was when we was in Mile High a couple years ago, back when Chase was actually healthy. He actually forced a fumble that created an extra possession that gave us a chance to tie the game with a minute left at Mile High with Taylor Heineke. Like, Chase Young, he isn't just getting sacks. He's forcing fumbles. He's getting tackles for losses. Even his rookie year, he made that key fourth down stop in Pittsburgh. Not all the numbers are going to show the impact that he's having on the field. I think his impact on the field, when healthy and when available, is very great. And I'd like to see him just be out there and hopefully just be consistent with just what he's bringing on the field. So
yeah, yeah. I can't disagree with that. I think depending on certain situations, when you need him the most, you want him to come through for you. Or even if he doesn't get the sack, just him generating pressure to create a turnover for somebody else. That's just as impactful too. I think to me. So you hit the nail on the head with that.
I just hope you're not like, I don't think you are, but there's a lot of fans on Twitter that I see that are just over here waiting for Chase Young to, it almost seems like a lot of fans want to see him fail, or like they're not very optimistic about what he brings. Like, it's very.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy, bro, where it's like I'm not going to judge him now. What he does this year, I'm going to judge him off of. So he could have a really good year. I'm okay. He had a really good year, and we can go forward from there. If he has a mediocre year or he's not good, then it's like, okay, I think he is what he is at this point. It's going to be tough, but that's how I am.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me that he went from a fan favorite to many fans to a guy that's almost looked at like an enemy almost in some ways. Like, it's not really. They're not giving Chase a fair shake. Is all I'm saying.
I feel you. So when do you think Ron gonna name the starting QB, man? People always arguing on Twitter about this. Oh, Jacoby, and you got the people that's rooting for Sam. No, Sam. Like everybody's pounding on the table for certain quarterbacks because some want to win now, and some are they're just so used to mediocrity. So, I'm cool with Jacoby. I don't want to try the experimental project, which I'm cool with. With the experimental thing. I mean, what do you have to lose? Like, people talk about Jacoby doing this for a nice stretch of the season. What, 7 games? Okay, he did that in 7 games. Now, what can he do for a whole season? What has he done? Like, what has he done when he plays for a whole season? I think Ron gonna name this starting quarterback probably. We know Ron. He gonna wait till the last minute. He probably gonna wait a week after the last preseason game. He's going to wait a week after, I think. So we got a ways to go. We got a while to go. It's going to be a roller coaster while with Sam Howell. He's going to have some training camp. He's going to have some bad days at training camp. Looks like he had bad days at OTAs and minicamp. And it's okay. He's young. But Ron's going to wait a week after that last preseason game to determine who's starting. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, Ron Rivera. I think really it's gonna a part of it comes down to Sam. As far as when Ron will name the starting quarterback. And the reason why I say that is because Jacoby Brissett being a savvy vet, I don't really see Ron going early to name the starting quarterback just because Sam still has to go out and earn it despite everything. And Jacoby Brissett, did come in here to technically compete for the job. He didn't come in here with the idea that he was going to be the backup quarterback, on signing day, right? But I feel like Jacoby Brissett is at peace and he's willing to accept being the backup quarterback if he is beaten out, right? So Sam's gotten every opportunity to get quarterback one reps, in OTAs. He'll get the nod at, training camp, mini camp when that comes up. He's pretty much shown that he is the guy right now, right? But as a formality, I feel like, they're not going to name him the starting quarterback right now just because he's still, they don't want him to get comfortable, right? They want a guy that's going to be hungry, that's going to come in and compete on a daily basis. And I think it could be as early as the first preseason game where he names the starting quarterback and says, Sam is our guy. If Sam comes in and he just lights it up, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Sam goes in 8 for 8, 100 and, X amount of yards and a touchdown pass, and he looks sharp and he runs the offense that Bieniemy wants to run, I think there's just no way, after one drive in the preseason where Sam looks sharp, that they go ahead and they say Jacoby Brissett is still competing for the starting job.
But stop. Don't make me drink the Kool-Aid.
But, I think with it all being said and done, I think by the end of preseason game number 2, we will have our starting quarterback, and it will be Sam Howell. Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell, they're not going to play in the last preseason game. So Ron will have to make a choice by then. He might not name the starting quarterback right away after the second preseason game, but I anticipate it happening right after that. I don't think Ron is going to beat around the bush or waste time. I think, they're going to go in and show that they're confident in their starting quarterback, Sam Howell, for week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. All right, okay. I can dig it. You about to make me drink that Kool-Aid, dog. The blue raspberry flavor.
I'm more of a red Kool-Aid guy, but
fruit punch out. Yeah. Okay. It don't matter. It's still good.
It won't be long. Along with the revamped website, Red Zone and the Lab podcast store will be up soon. Please visit rzinthelab.com and subscribe to emails so you can be notified when it's live and receive a special discount.
Free agent signing. I ain't gonna lie, Khadar. If I can sign one free agent right now.
Goldie.
Come on, man.
Hey, you got a new canine, man. Shout out to Goldie.
Yeah. Shout out to Goldie. You know what? I hate on Tutty so much. Shout out to Goldie, man. Shout out to the Golden Retriever.
I really enjoy all the promotional, not promotional, excuse me. All of the videos that the social media team does on
it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
The draft and even like the Goldie signing, right? They do a really good job of just promoting all this, and it's really cool and very entertaining for fans, and getting younger fans that really haven't watched Commander football in the past. We're competing with the likes of the Baltimore Ravens in this DMV market, even though Baltimore isn't a part of the DMV, but that's a whole other discussion. You want young fans to come in and rock with this team, and I like what they're doing with this identity that they're trying to build with the Commanders. Major Tutty being a mascot, that they introduced at the end of the season last year, and then Goldie. But they also are going to make this hopefully a free agent destination. And one free agent I'd like to see them really sign is actually at the offensive line position. I'd like to see them, maybe get another guy like a Dalton Reisner. off of the Denver Broncos. He's a free agent. I'd like to see, maybe them go ahead and get them. I mean, there's nobody really that stands out for me at the linebacker position. I know Devin White is available via trade, but then you got to, go ahead and pay him $15 to $20 million. Somebody who is a veteran that could come in and contribute right away on a cheap contract that can help give our offensive line some depth is a guy like Dalton Reisner. I feel like, it's a good signing to have, upon, anything happening at training camp where somebody isn't available.
A guy I would sign. I'm gonna help with the linebacker room a little bit. I'm gonna get a guy that can help groom Jamin a little bit. Deion Jones, 28 years old, fast linebacker.
I didn't even realize he was a free agent.
Yeah, played for the Falcons. He actually had a stint with the Browns this past year. I would add him to this team. You get a guy that's been around the league. He's been in big games. He went to the Super Bowl. You can get him to kind of help groom Jamin a little bit, help him, because they're not the same player, but they have the same physical aspects of the game that are similar, which is their speed.
Yeah,
Jamin's athletic. I'm really thinking back on. I think that's why they picked him up, because of his athleticism, how fast he is, and how strong and big he is. That's why they got him, and they was trying to scratch the surface on him and trying to see what he can be. When you got Deion Jones to that linebacker room, not only does that help with the depth, but that also helps just with the room, having a veteran presence. Not only Cody Barton, which I think he can have a solid year, but Cody can learn from him too. Khalid Hudson can learn from him too. Have him learn with a veteran. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and I know another thing with Deion Jones is he's had, from what I remember, a knack for creating turnovers. I've seen him get, a few interceptions in his time in Atlanta, be around the football, recovering fumbles and just, giving his offense in Atlanta, just opportunities to get the ball. I know his health has been a very big concern for him. Had he been healthy, he'd probably be on an NFL team right now. So I like that a lot. I think, his presence would definitely be an upgrade and just, a good thing to have in our linebacker room for our younger guys. So, last thing, training camp is around the corner. We've got that HBO program that's really popular that some NFL fans love to see their team on. Others might, kind of not want that for their organization.
I don't care what they think. This team needs hard knocks, Khadar. This team needs hard knocks. People like to talk about stuff outside of football, outside of the lines. Now we get to see the culture being changed here. The world gets to see that. That's what the world needs to see, Khadar. The world needs to see, hey, you know what? This team isn't as bad as what we think they are. They got a talented team. You got a good receiving core. You got a good defensive line room. You have a young secondary who has upside, and they can continue to get better the more they play with each other. Like, come on, bro. Like, the world needs to see this.
All right,
when the world saw the Lions, Khadar, they started rooting for them.
So are you for now? Here's what I'm about to ask, because there's two hard knocks, right? People forget about that. They have the hard knocks in the middle of the season, and they have the hard knocks, right before the start of the season during training camp.
I need the whole season.
Middle of the season training hard knocks, or are you training camp hard knocks?
Whole season.
So you mean like the training camp?
I want the regular season hard knocks.
You want the regular season? See, I don't know about that. See,
you don't?
I feel like the regular season hard knocks is the knockout hard knocks.
Can you have both or no? You can't have both.
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, but I don't. The regular season hard knocks is relatively new, So there hasn't been a team that's done the regular season. Like I know
I thought the Lions did it. Didn't the
the
Lions?
Lions no, so the Lions did the training camp and then the Colts did the middle of the season one, right? So I don't know. I think for me, I'm kind of 50-50 on whether I want Hard Knocks or not for the Commanders. I would lean towards having Hard Knocks, but I definitely would want it in the summertime, during training camp, just so we can kind of see the growth of,
Yeah.
Sam,
Oh, yeah.
Bieniemy, how that looks, and just get an inside scoop on our team. It's almost like, I know you're, a little far right now, but you're gonna come up and see, some training camp when you get the opportunity to. But, for fans that aren't in the area and for people that aren't familiar with even just our offensive like skill room, like with Jahan and Terry and Curtis Samuel and B Rob, like our skill position players, like you're gonna really see, like, for like the novice fan, for the outside fan, that we have a lot of talent. People are still getting to know and getting to see.
They don't know, Khadar. They don't know.
So when you come up, you'll be able to get to see. But like, even for you and the peoples that aren't around the area, Hard Knocks is an opportunity for people to get an inside scoop and see the team, from a different perspective, and like, seeing them up close, seeing the work that they're putting in outside of training camp, outside the being on the practice field, it's a lot. And I think it's really cool to just have that experience. So Hard Knocks, I'd be for it. I know I actually haven't watched Hard Knocks the last couple of years, I'll be honest. So I'll definitely be locked in on the Commanders, obviously. So the Detroit one, I didn't watch a minute of it. It's crazy. And Detroit had a really good year. So,
Yeah, definitely did, bro. I think we need to get it. We need some type of positive outlook on this team. That's one reason why I want that. I want the world to see we're going in a better direction. We're moving forward in the right direction, and we're finally being competent. I've been in other space. I was in a space for this past weekend because I was some Cowboys fans. It was like, yeah, we don't like structure over there. So when y'all start having structure, y'all start being successful.
Yeah. Yeah. The NFL, I feel like, really wants the Commanders to be a Hard Knocks team. But I feel like they don't really want it as much as they've wanted it in the past. Like when we were the Redskins and we had like the dysfunction and the drama that was going on with the team, like, it by human nature, like, humans are attracted to drama, right? So it was almost like, in some ways, like Hard Knocks would have been a way for us to look bad, and the NFL, kind of the NFL fans would have got like amusement out of that, right? And now I don't know how the NFL would have felt about that, making an NFL team look bad on a premium network like HBO. But now with the positive vibes going on with the organization and just the changing culture and even the new owner, coming in, I feel like this is a golden opportunity for Hard Knocks to be, with our organization. So
definitely is, man. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, man. Anything else you're looking forward to?
Oh man, I'm just excited for. I want that. I need that joint practice to happen, good or bad. I want to go up against one of the best. I want my defense to go against Lamar. I want Sam Howell to go up against one of the best corners in the league, in Marlon Humphrey, and one of the best safeties in the league, in Marcus Williams. I want to see that. I want to see how he reacts to a defense that's always been good in the NFL for the past 5 years. And if he's competent doing that, then we got something. If he can do that, he got something a little bit. I ain't gonna say the guy gonna be great, but I think he got something when you hear your quarterback making really good throws against a really good defense. Despite if Bieniemy's making it easier, at least we're hearing something positive being played about the quarterback position. That's what I'm excited for coming out. I need that to happen ASAP.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, and to play against a guy like Lamar, in training camp, I feel like in some ways there's more value having a joint practice with a team like the Ravens than actually having the preseason game. In some ways, where the starters, definitely go in and compete on the practice field, more than they might see snaps on the actual preseason game. I know the preseason has a ton of value for guys on the bubble and for depth players to go in and compete and earn their spots on the team, and maybe even up the depth chart. But that joint practice for guys like Jahan, for Sam, for B Rob, because the pads will be on, it's a ton. Emmanuel Forbes going against an Odell Beckham, a Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, all of our guys. It's an opportunity to get better. And it's pretty sweet for me too, because my brother is a Ravens fan, diehard Ravens fan. He's like the Commander. He's like the Raven. He's a Raven fan the way I'm a Commander fan. Like it's going to be really cool going to training camp with him. So I look forward to that.
Okay. Yeah, man. Look, it's always nice to top it up with my guy. That team from DC, man. We back at it again. Stay tuned for the next episode, y'all.
Peace and love, beautiful people.
Peace and love.
Now keep it 100. That wasn't so bad now, was it? Spread the word. Because like Dion say, we coming. Thanks for listening to the Team from DC podcast. We truly appreciate your time. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at redzoneinthelab.com, and also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can download our podcast at your usual podcast platforms. Also visit redzoneinthelab.com. See you next time. Gang, gang. Holla at your boy.